came up. But
what just came up?
None of your business. But nothing that big of a deal. But that's something I had to attend to. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kyle, do you set the schedule for what you're going to do with those preseason games? Is it going to be the first team offense going to get any snaps?
Yeah, some of them. We got a pretty good idea. I definitely want to see how these practices go these first 2 days. I'd like to get guys to play in this game, mainly because I don't want to play in the second game. You know, going to scrimmage a team more into the scrimmage than the game. And then to have a chance to get them to play in a game 4 days after that versus Houston. When we get back Sunday morning, it'll be tough. So that's why I don't want to play much in that game. So hopefully a little in 1, a little in 3, and then we'll have 17 days to get ready for week 1.
Would that be Trey for sure?
In my mind right now, I'd like Trey to get in games 1 and 3.
In the whole line?
Yeah, I want some of them in there at least.
Yeah. Last year, yeah, Jimmy just go one series on all 3 games. You want to see Trey do more than that?
I don't know. I haven't totally thought of that yet. I didn't know that we did that last year. I mean, right now, my gut is exactly what I said. That could change after these 2 practices and when we see out there and stuff. But definitely would like to get him out there this week.
You find this looking heavy, but you find those 2 joint practices far more beneficial than the game.
I prefer if that's all we did, all 3 weeks and never playing a game.
You guys announced the depth chart. How much time do you spend on that depth chart?
0.
Yeah. So to ask you, like, why Jake Brindle is the #1 center instead of Daniel Brunskill?
It was just we had to put 1 there.
There's another one on that. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo's a 4th quarterback listed. Has he even been issued an iPad? Does he watch film? Does he have a playbook?
No. I'm sure he does at home. I mean, we haven't given new playbooks out this year yet. But, I mean, he's not in meetings, he's not doing all that stuff, so he's just doing what I said he's been doing. But yeah, I think if he's on the depth charts, because you have to be. You know, I think all 90 guys on our roster do. We have 91 actually.
Is there interest? Is there trade? I know you're coaching the team here, but is there trade discussions happening right now with Jim?
I believe that goes on with his agents, and but none that I hear of.
No offer that has been brought to you to say, what do you think of this?
Not that I've heard of yet.
Through the first 10 days of camp, how has Trey Lance met or exceeded your expectations for him coming into this year?
I think it's gone kind of how you expect it. I mean, how you do with every quarterback. You know, I think he's had some real good days. He had a couple rough days. Thought he had a rough day his last practice, which is going to be good to see how he bounces back today. But I've been real pleased with Trey and real pleased with all 3 of them.
When you say that last practice, what were it looked like there were some accuracy issues, but when you're reviewing that practice, what stuck out as far as, okay, there's some room for growth there?
The turnover that he made to Fred and the turnover that Nate made backed up. Those are the 2 ones that bothered me the most. You're going to be off on some throws and stuff, but you can still win games when you're off on throws. You can't win games when you turn the ball over, and those mainly the turnovers.
What kind of camp has Nate had from your estimation?
I think Nate's had a good camp too. He's gotten better each day. I think his last 3 days have probably been his best days that he's put together. So hopefully he'll keep improving and the trajectory keeps going up.
You said the other day that you asked the cornerback to what you want, the toughest guy to cover. Do you seek their input on those type of things, or is it just stuff that you kind of hear, or how does that go?
I mean, I kind of have I guess how I think they feel, and then sometimes you ask them, and some guys keep it more real than others. Some will say no one's hard to guard. And some you can have cool conversations with. So I don't put too much stock into it, but I also think that's always changing. I mean, that was early in camp. I think Juwan had the best OTAs. I think PA's pushing right now too, though. He's been real tough to cover out there.
As far as center and right guard, obviously Brunskill's not taking snaps at right guard, but you saw him all last year there. How do you sort of balance what you see from Burford, given that there's not like a direct competition with Brunskill?
Because we know exactly what Dan can do. And I think Dan can actually be better with getting less reps, not getting as much wear and tear on his body. Dan knows how to play. He's figured out every position we've asked him to play since he's been here. And now he's trying to figure out center, see what the options are there. And also, Burford can't get enough reps. Banks can't get enough reps. When you haven't had guys who've played a lot, they need to be out there a ton. And that allows us to do that. I'm very glad that if it doesn't work out for one of those guys, it's not like, oh man, Dan has guys in practice there. Dan can hop in there right away.
With Juwan, from where he started to where he is today, just really what have you seen from him and how impressive has it been?
I think Juwan's always had the ability. I mean, if you watch him in college and everything, but I think Juwan this year really clicked on how to prepare his body and stuff. And I think he always came to camp a little bit not as prepared as he could be, which always made him a little bit of a late starter, which gave guys like Mo last year and stuff every opportunity to be ahead of him. But Juwan, by like week 4, week 5, you could see it in him, how in shape he was and just how good of a football player he is. But when he got in such good shape and was coming off the ball every play, he strung together a bunch of weeks to where he became one of our best receivers. And that's why he was so crucial in the last few games on third down and things like that. And this offseason, just like what it did with BA, they went into it and attacked it. Juwan was here more than anybody. And it led to a great OTAs, and he's having a great camp too.
How are Burford and Banks both progressing?
Really well. I've been excited with them. They've been playing real well in practice, and I'm excited to see them in games.
Has McLeod been about what you expected when you got him, and might he be more of have an impact on offense than maybe people on the outside figured?
I mean, the coolest thing about Ray is, I watched him as a receiver and wanted him just for a receiver. And then when we watched him as a punt returner, and then we wanted him just as a punt returner. We expect him to help us out on offenses a lot. And the fact that we feel we have a good starting punt returner, a good starting kick returner is a huge bonus.
How has Kinlaw been progressing now that you've been increasing his workload?
He's been great. I mean, to be able to keep pushing the reps up, and for him to have no setbacks, it's been awesome. And hopefully we'll be able to get him in this game too, depending on how these next 2 long practices go.
You talked about his happiness that he finally is without pain. It seems like it's added to what he's doing on the field.
Definitely. I mean, you just realize it when the guy's playing through stuff, and he had to depend on so much more because he's just trying to be always so aggressive and trying to get himself going. And now you watch him out there, and he's a lot more at peace doing it. He's improving on his techniques. He seems like he enjoys practice more, and you realize it's not because he's totally changed; it's because he's finally not in pain. And to watch that, you just are very happy for the guy, and not just for his career, but his life.
Kyle, what are the biggest things you're hoping to see from rookies, just in general in preseason?
Just that the game's not too big for him. I mean, that is the one thing that I do like about preseason games. It's just that there's some people get better when the lights are on, and some get worse. And I like guys. I mean, obviously you hope they get better, but you at least want them to be what they've shown in practice. And sometimes you get some guys who you think is a really good player, and you get out there, and for some reason, whoever's in the crowd or whatever it is, they kind of just melt, and you're like, all right, he's not quite as ready as I thought.
Watching practices, it always kind of seems like the defense is ahead of the offense, but is that a true representation, just how the practices are structured and what you're trying to get accomplished? Is it a true representation of where the offense is and where the defense is?
I don't think I've ever in my career felt, except maybe in Houston in 2 years, but I've never in my career felt like the offense beats the defense in training camp. I mean, when we were in Cleveland, they had whoever won the day got to wear the orange jersey the next day, and the defense won all 18 of them. And then one day we let the coaches compete in catching punts, and the offensive coaches won that. So the offensive players got to wear jerseys one day in all training camp, and it was because the coaches won the punts. But then we came out, and we were a pretty good offense that year coming out. And it's just different. You're trying to teach stuff, and you're not up game planning stuff, and defenses are defending. And I always think it's a little bit hard.
So when you go back to the interceptions you talked about, what did Trey miss on the one in particular, the threat?
Just threw it right to him, trying to force the ball, and just got to obviously check it down. He was extremely covered, so if you throw a pick, then you can understand why someone's doing it. And then it's kind of neat to happen in practice because you can talk about it and be like, I saw what you saw, great job ripping it, the throw was off, or yeah, I see what you saw, but this is what deceived you. But when you can't see what they saw, then you're going to lose the game. You got to check that down. There's no discussion on that.
And did he not have the right answer for you?
No, he had the exact right answer. It was just a dumb play. Nate did the same thing in the backed up period on the -4 yard line. So those are the ones you just can't do. You can't overcome anything.
Ayuk said, take 2 more. Ayuk said that even when he has bad plays, he has the same sort of demeanor that when he has, a great play or something. Do you see that from him, that he sort of stays even keel?
Yeah, he's been good at that. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, he's a competitive guy, so you never know how they are on the inside, but he handles himself very well.
Last year with Sampson, I know it's not just about sacks, but I think he had like 1 sack in the first 9 games. Did you wonder about, did we make a mistake here with this guy, or did you see things that gave you hope that the second half would be what it was?
No, we got him because playing against him in the Rams, we wanted him to come here and do that for us, and I thought he did exactly what he did against us, and I think he did it at a higher level this year. So I'm very excited and happy with Sampson. He's done exactly what we brought him here to do.
Now that you've had him for a couple of years, at least the Guardian helmets, have you formed any kind of opinion at all whether those are worthwhile? Do you think it's something that's good going forward?
I love them.
Pardon?
I love them. You don't have to worry about the quarterback breaking his finger. Everyone's got pillows on the top of their helmet, and I spend every single meeting telling guys to rush really hard and be the strongest part of our team, but don't get close to the quarterback because people break fingers, and it's exhausting. And I still coach it, but it's so nice that we've hit their helmets a couple times, and it's nice when they have a pillow on top because you don't break your hands.
Will you be using them against the Vikings, or are they not used in those?
I don't know what the rules are. I mean, once the rules aren't there, I can't force people to use them, so that'd be up to those guys.
All right, appreciate the guys.
All right, thanks, guys.